This is how Nobara might come back. Hello and welcome to yet another Jujutsu Kaisen video. Before we get into the video, I'd just like to ask you if you would kindly like and subscribe if you feel like I've earned it. And without wasting any more of your precious time, let's get started in the video. Nobara was tragically taken out of the story during the Shibuya arc. She was gravely injured in her fight against Mahito when he touched her, causing her left eye to explode. At that moment, I felt like she was truly dead and tears started rolling down my face as I saw the emotion that overcame Yuji. I felt she had left us for good. Yet, we never get truly 100% confirmation that she's dead at all. For example, when Yuji loses his resolution to fight and gets absolutely pounded by Mahito, Todo luckily comes in and reminds him why Yuji is fighting. But the important part here is Arada, who is with Todo, heals Yuji and Nobara. Not fully healing, it's a technique painkiller that makes any inflicted damage not get any worse. I'll be quoting in chapter 127. The most important quote would be his confirmation that she isn't completely hopeless. That quote says exactly, "She has no pulse and isn't breathing." But not much time has passed since she received those injuries. Let's say that is not a 0% chance she'll survive. I'm taking her and retreating. Not a 0% chance, okay? But please don't get your hopes up. This is very important because I feel like when it comes to death in the series, it is almost absolute or confirmed by someone that that person has died. For example, Yuji and his grandfather, stating that he had passed and also being there present during his cremation. Second would be Junpei. We know when Mahito touches and transforms your soul, you inherently die. And we saw with the teary eyes Junpei asking why to Yuji and then passes away. Third has to be one of the most sad to me and still hurts my soul. And that's my baby daddy, Nanami. Before Nanami was about to be killed by Mahito, he saw Hibara pointing at Yuji. We all know that you can curse someone before you die, and this was maybe a sign to make sure that he let Yuji know that he believes in him. Then also he was completely obliterated, so it was pretty easy to confirm that he's dead and gone. With that being said, we can go on to more information. Every time Nobara is brought up, I feel like I don't get a complete answer. In chapter 144, Yuji asks Megumin about Nobara's status. Megumin just gives a sad look and Yuji quickly responds with, "Oh, I get it. I get it." I feel like people think this is Megumin confirming her death, but I would like to express how I believe Yuji is thinking at this moment. I think before he even asked this question about her status, he remembered everything that led up to that moment. This would be including her chance for survival isn't zero, but not to get his hopes up. Plus on top of that, Todo's talked with him about what have you been entrusted with. He understands his role and knows what he has to do. He can only carry the weight that he's been entrusted with and move on. Like Yuji stated to Hakari in chapter 157, I am just a cog. Yuji understands his role and what he needs to do. He can't worry about Nobara because it helps no one. Lastly would be when Yuji discussed with Megumin in chapter 210 about how he feared Angel was the replacement for Nobara. I think it is very important here because why bring her up at all? The choice to put Nobara back into our minds really does make us believe that she is still with us. So after all that, we get to the question of, should she come back? First, I would give you the answer that is my very biased opinion, which is, fuck yeah, she should come back. She was such a well-written character, but we have to put our bias aside and see, does she have something to add to the story? And I would say, with a very strong yes. I'll also express what I feel like she could be used for. Let's go to the scene where Sukuna was preparing to fight Gojo. It is stated that the last finger couldn't be found and Sukuna said it must have been Gojo who hid it away. So from this, I believe Gojo indeed had the last one stored in order to make it harder for Yuji to be executed. Gojo must have been worried because for the first time Yuji died and decided that he would hide it in order to protect Yuji. So what does this have to do with Nobara? I believe that Gojo let Shoko know his plan since she might be the one caring for Nobara. Nobara's ability allows her to use severed body parts to link to her straw doll to her target and do some critical damage. I believe in a crucial moment in the fight with Sukuna versus Gojo, Sukuna will get the upper hand on Gojo again and put him in a tight spot that may decide the fight. Very similar to how Sukuna used Megumin to tank Gojo's technique. But before Sukuna can land the killing blow, he is stopped by Nobara's technique. we would have been shown Nobara in a hospital bed where she had broken a table on her side, and we will see the straw doll with Sukuna's finger on it. I would love for this to be the way we find out that Nobara is still alive. She's a great, beautiful character that has such badass vibes. I don't think she's well enough to return to the fight, but you have to be honest, that would be the best and most badass way to reintroduce her. She has been gone for too long and she needs something grand. So that's my idea on how Nobara should be reintroduced into the story, and also that I do believe that she's still alive, but still very, very along the lines of her recovery. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I would love to hear what you think about this theory, or believe if Nobara is even alive. If you do have another idea how Nobara should be reintroduced, I would love to hear it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you feel like I've earned it. Thank you again, and I'll see you when I see you.